Alrighty, guys, so this is the first sort of academically focused recording that I'm making for you guys. I know I made that introduction video. I also know I'm wearing an alien t-shirt and I'm not wearing makeup, so I probably look like a toddler, but that is fine because I just wanted to kind of give an introduction today to how we're going to be doing lecture. For me, I don't know about you guys, a lot of times for me, it is a lot easier for me to kind of pick up on what somebody's saying, if I can see their face, if I can see their speaking with their hands, that sort of thing. So I kind of wanted to go through what my expectations are for doing lectures in this course, if we're going to be virtual, which obviously we are for the time being. I generally, when eventually you guys get to come back to my classroom, which is hopefully, not too long from now, you will find out that I really don't love doing lectures. Growing up, was in a lot of science classes, as I'm sure you guys have had before, where it was just you listen to the teacher talk and you sit in straight rows and you just take notes all day, every day. And I, for one, get very tired of hearing my own voice. And also, I know that that's not the best way for you guys to learn. Unfortunately for right now, a lot of the labs that I would like to be doing and things like taking you to the greenhouse and going outdoors, those are things that I cannot take you all with me on at the moment. So for now, lecture is going to be a pretty big component of our class, as well as a lot of individual reading. So there are going to be a lot of assignments that involve you guys reading case studies, other articles, textbook snippets, things like that. And so I just wanted to prepare you guys for that. If that's not your learning style, I totally get it, and I'm so sorry. That's how we're having to start out, but it is what it is. And if this is something that you're like, okay, that is straight up not how I learn, I'm not going to do well at this, you just need to email me. Email me and we will figure something out. Like I said, in a perfect world, you'd all be here and I'd be taking you to the science lab and to the greenhouse and we'd be doing group activities and it would just be amazing. But that's not our reality right now, and that's okay. So, like I said, if you're super concerned, if you're like, this is not my best way of consuming and retaining content, let me know. Shoot me an email. At the very least, try and give it a week. Be like, hey, I'm not so sure about this, Ms. McFarland, and I'll probably tell you, give it a week. Let's see what we can do. And then after that, if you're like, hey, I think I would do much better if I had XYZ supports in place, let me know. Because like I've said in a lot of the posts that I've made, this is going to be a learning experience for all of us, to say the least. We're in this together. So for lecture, that's what this video is about, I think. We are going to have things broken up into documents that are going to say Unit 1 student notes and Unit 1 PowerPoint or slideshow or something along those lines. So the way I've got everything set up in Schoology, you'll be able to see those links where it says Unit 1 student notes, Unit 1 slideshow. So when I say student notes, I'm not necessarily talking about the slideshow itself. What we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to be giving you, that's backwards, but I'm going to be giving you student notes. So I'm not expecting you to write a lot. That's kind of useless in my opinion. For me, I love to write things and organize them and color code them, and that's how I memorize and learn things, but that's not the case for everybody. So if that's something you want to do, great. If not, I'm not going to make you. But you will get these student notes. So on the front, it'll say Unit 1, the living world and ecosystems, and it says student notes, so that's what this one is. You're going to have a table of contents to let you know what's going to be in there. For this one, like we're starting with ecology and going all the way down to the hydrologic or water cycle. And then on that third page, they just start right in. And so you can see basic ecology vocabulary. It's going to sort it into vocabulary. It's got graphs. It's got other little tidbits. So what my plan is, as of right now, is that as we go through this content, like for example, the first lesson that we're doing is only the first 10 pages, excuse me, only the first 10 pages of the student notes. So you're getting the whole notes and the whole slideshow for the entire first unit all at once. But when you see that really big document or that really big slideshow, don't panic, because we're going to do it in sections and then do activities in between. So it's not going to be like I'm expecting you to look at 100 slides and 100 pages worth of notes in a week or in a day or anything like that. So I'll always try to tell you which little chunk we're going to be going over that day. and keep it really nice and organized and things like that. So I'm about to, here in a second, make the first talk through recording with school or Screencastify, where you'll be able to see my screen. So I'm going to pull up the notes on my screen, the PowerPoint, and I'm going to have the notes here in front of me, and I'm going to talk through it as I go through the slideshow. So in this situation, and when we do these lectures, my plan is that this will all be pre-recorded, because I know that not everybody can be at the computer at the same time for things like this. So it'll be pre-recorded. You can pause, you can go back, you can review it in the future, whatever you need to do. And I'm going to go through the slideshow while I go through the notes. I'm going to make notes for myself of other things that I want to add that might not already be in here. And my expectation of you guys is that each week that I post these lectures, basically, you will follow along with your student notes. So you don't necessarily need to pull up the slideshow, because I'm going to have that on my screen in the recording, but you will pull up your notes. If you want to print them, you can. It's terrible because I'm an environmental science teacher, which means save the trees, but I do much better with pen and paper. So if you want to print them, you're welcome to. If you don't have the resources to do that, use some notebook paper and write as you go. Totally fine too. But I would definitely recommend having this in front of you in some capacity, whether it's pulled up on an iPad or a laptop or whatever, or if you've printed it out, whatever works for you. So that when I add things to it, because you might go through and say, okay, well, this first slide says ecology vocabulary, basic ecology vocabulary, and maybe it says an organism is an individual living thing. Maybe there's a little bit extra that I want to add to that. Maybe I think that definition's a little too small. Then I'm going to expect you to be there and follow along with me, so you can say, oh, well, she wanted to add this little bit of information onto that definition, in addition to what was already there. It was a little bit too simple at first. So that's y'all's role in this, is that I'm going to go through it. I'm going to try and explain it to the best of my ability, considering I don't know if you have questions or not, because I am in the past. I am in the past and you are in the present, and I'm recording this August 5th. So, if you have questions, always email me, and then we will definitely do a debriefing after each lecture, where we're going to have these WebEx meetings. I'm going to get to meet you guys, which I'm super excited about. And when you have questions, write those down as you're going through your notes, highlight them, write them down, so that when we come together and we do our WebEx meeting, you can say, Ms. McFarland, I noticed that you said this in the video, and I have a question about that. And that will be great. So that's the plan. Hope that plan works for you guys. I hope this was helpful and not a rambling tangent on my part, but I'm excited to get started, and we'll see how it goes.